dad, his best friend was an ex-provost of Barrhead, but he was also the captain of the tennis club. And their tennis pavilion had been burnt down, the old wooden building. But they managed to get some money together and build I think it was like a concrete garage type building, a bit more secure. They just got that finished, but the land round about was a bit of a mess. And the members were all asked, could you spend a day and try and clear this up? So I went up with my camera and just took the guys digging and stuff like that. And I phoned up the Barrhead News on the Monday morning, and they used the pictures. And it was Alice Craig who was the editor, then very well respected editor. And she asked me, could I come in and speak to her? I said, yeah. Our usual photographer had unfortunately had a bad heart attack. We don't know when he's going to be back. Can you do anything? I said, well, I've got this job in Glasgow at the moment. But most of the things are at night and the weekends. I said, well, okay. And within about 6 months, I realised I'm making more money. I might as well chuck this job in Glasgow. We did all the schools every year, the new intake of the primaries, and I loved that. What I tried to do was get the obligatory group shot out the way, get all the kids up, because I was a novelty coming in, and they were distracted by me a bit. Get that out the way, and once that novelty was over, they went back to what they were doing. So it gave them the opportunity to take candid pictures of them, and that was great. And most of the schools, big windows, the light's great. You don't need to use flash, you're not distracting them. Longer lens, you're away in the background. And probably got some of my best pictures just because they were candid. I was away from the posed football club pictures holding the trophies. It was nice. Very, very pleased with some of them. The Barrhead News is part of the Gazette group based in Paisley. They had a number of papers, including the Paisley and Renfrewshire Gazette series, and they had offsprings of that, the Erskine edition, the Renfrew edition, whatever. So yeah, and it was hard work. I mean, sometimes I could be doing 15 assignments in one day, and yet it wasn't the photography that was the art then. It was how you planned your route to get round them all as near to the time as possible. That was the hardest bit. I didn't do a lot for Paisley, but I think maybe the local chap wasn't available. The chap that did Paisley wasn't available. But anyway, I seemed to end up there, and I wasn't at the game or anything. I'm not even a great footballer supporter at all. But when I arrived and I realised, oh, this is big. I mean, the crowds were just amazing. The whole of the grass area, and it's quite vast outside Paisley Abbey, was just filled with bodies, and people climbing up young boys climbing up lamp posts and all sorts of things. And it was bizarre. And then the open deck bus arrives and took pictures, and I managed to talk myself up into the balcony where the players were and get some shots from the balcony of the players. And that went down quite well. So it was a great day. All the groups in Renfrew had put together a nice day, thankfully, and they all had their stalls, and all showing off what they did. And Erskine Hospital were there showing off their crafts, what the soldiers made, and all that sort of stuff. And they arrived in an open top Land Rover and stood up and then got out. But we went round and chatted to everybody. But I was, obviously the national press were there, and I was just the local newspaper photographer, so I wasn't that confident. But this Sidney Harrison, he was wanting to make a big spread of pictures, and he kept pushing me closer, You get in there as well, you're allowed to take pictures as well as anybody else. It was a good day, and we got a good spread. I probably used about 12 pictures. I mean, you're really concentrating on the picture. You're not really worried about who it is. You just got to get the picture right. And Diana was lovely to photograph. She was a natural. You couldn't take a bad picture of Princess Diana. There's no way. I think probably did her about 3 times. And the Queen probably 4 or 5 times. Charles, never ending. It's always popping up somewhere. And my brother said, well, why don't you can do a website? Why don't you put your, if you've still got all your negatives, why don't you put them online somehow? I said, yeah, I suppose I could. At first, just putting them on my own website, I quite liked playing around with the designing it myself, but I wasn't getting a lot of reaction. And I quickly realised that the odd one I put in Facebook were getting big licks, and I couldn't understand why. It's because people can discuss the picture with their pals. And of course it also means if they share that picture with their pals, they share it with their pals, and so the pictures get a lot better use. And Facebook just took off. And I've got so much encouragement that I can't stop. It's addictive now. When it happens on a day-to-day basis, if you're living in a town daily and something gets changed, you don't take much notice of it. If you accumulate 40 years of change, and suddenly, wow, I'd forgotten about that, no, I've forgotten about that. It just brings back usually happy memories. I mean, there's obviously a lot of people in my photographs are no longer with us. But that doesn't seem to matter. I'm always worried about it might offend somebody, might bring back bad, but it doesn't seem to. They seem to be quite happy to see their old granny who, has been dead for 30 years now. More than happy to see her. And the older prince, of course. And you get the first 3 comments, oh yeah, remember that picture, oh look at your hair, blah blah blah. And next thing, oh hey, Jenny, how are you keeping? I haven't seen you for years, and they start talking to each other. We need to get together for a coffee sometime. I said, wait a minute, it's supposed to be my pictures, But I just laugh because I think it's great.